Now that the dust has settled, the battle of the big three has, at least for now, come to an end. And yes, I still consider J. Cole a part of this battle, and I'll get into that later on in this video. I want to talk with you guys about how this battle affects these three legacy-wise, and talk about what I think is going to happen, as well as what I think should happen for these three MCs to keep their legacies intact. Because as much as I love the battle, I love the music that these guys make way more than them battling. Now let's start with J. Cole. Obviously, we know Drake and Kendrick were the main components of this battle, but Cole played a part in it, and his career and legacy has taken a little bit of a hit. For those that don't know, Kendrick and Drake had been sending shots at each other for around a decade prior to the battle. But it was J. Cole and Drake's song First Person Shooter that would kind of be the catalyst for Kendrick's Like That verse, which was a response and jab at Cole and Drake for claiming to be the big three and claiming to be the best, and kind of alluding to being above Kendrick to a certain degree. Now listen, before everyone starts to say, Cole is innocent, he's just a bystander, he apologized, so he's exempt, and he's smart for apologizing, and he knew this was gonna happen and all this type of shit. Listen, Cole is not innocent, bro. And as much as I love J. Cole, I can't let him get off that easy. Cole has been on features and records of his own for the last 2-3 years, claiming to be the best MC and claiming that he would kill any MC that tries to challenge him. In fact, on Crocodile Tears, from Cole's last project, Might Delete Later, he says, "Them boys kiss ring when they see the king coming. They know I run things like the police coming. Yes, sir, it's me, not two, not three, the uno. GOAT, I need my fee, fuck kudos." So he says uno. He's saying he's talking about the big three. He's saying he's not three, he's not two, he's number one in the big three, right? So he's claiming he's the best. Not to mention he's on tour with Drake, doing the Spider-Man meme and saying they're the best, basically. All of this to say, clearly Kendrick took this away and took it as a slight and decided to make everyone prove who the real GOAT or the king of this era really is. A lot of people on socials are trying to make it seem like J. Cole was the victim, or J. Cole was the peaceful one in this whole situation, but really, he's played his part in it as well. He claimed king after he said himself on Forest Hills Drives that there isn't a king anymore, and he metaphorically destroyed the crown and all that shit, right? And he's claiming to be the best. He even dropped a diss track towards Kendrick. Like, yes, he took it down. Yes, he apologized, but he still wrote it. He still brought it to a studio. He recorded it, met with his team. They put it on the album. They released it. They still waited a week for the sales to go through, for the first week sales before they took the record down. So it's not like a spur of the moment, I threw this thing out there. There was thought that went into it, right? And he still put it out there, and he still tested the waters. Maybe the lukewarm reception of it, also with the fact that Kendrick is his friend, made him decide to take it down. But I don't think it was purely out of the goodness of his heart. You know what I mean? He still decided to put the record out. So there's still, regardless of what you try to say, he still made an attempt. He still made an attempt. It's recorded, it's there. Whether or not Kendrick and him remain friends, that's not my business. But we're just talking music, right? We're talking MCs, we're talking music. He took an attempt and he took it down. He backed out of it, right? And in terms of J. Cole's legacy, I think this affects it. I can't even listen to Might Delete Later the same anymore, and it's a good album, but majority of the lyrics is him talking about how great of an MC he is, and how if any MC tries to challenge him, he's going to kill them. You know what I mean? So an MC did challenge him and he backed down from that battle. So we aren't talking friendships, we're talking MCing. And this is the second time Kendrick has called Cole's name out, and Cole kind of backed down. On Control, he mentioned all these rappers he's trying to kill. J. Cole was one of those names that he mentioned. And now the second time on Like That, he's saying, fuck the big three, it's just big me, right? That's directly towards Cole as well. He's a part of that. He's saying that he'll battle any MC that challenges him, but he did not accept the challenge. I mean, he did, but then he backed out of it. So I'm saying all that to explain my logic here. Like, what I think J. Cole is going to do going forward now is I think he's going to focus on finishing his anticipated album, The Fall Off. And I think, he'll probably have some track on there explaining his side of this whole situation, kind of like a Let Nas Down from Born Sinner, you know what I mean? Where he's going to explain why he put the diss track out, why he made the decision to take it down, how this affects him and Kendrick's relationship, him and Drake's relationship. And I'm sure he's gonna talk about this in some capacity, maybe a podcast or something, you know what I mean? And I'm sure he's gonna, just off what I think the type of person J. Cole is, I think he's gonna probably try to mend the relationship with him and Drake and Kendrick. What I want him to do is, be humble, focus on the Fall Off album, I think him taking space and everything like that is a smart move. And I think, the hits he's taking right now and everyone kind of making him the butt of the joke of apologizing and everything, I think it kind of works in his favor and goes with the whole theme of the fall off, right? Like, he could kind of play into that now. And it's actually, he's been up for so long, this kind of actually gives him a moment where it seems like he fell off. So it goes with the theme perfectly. I think for Cole, like, all he needs to do really is play into the falling off thing, play into the theme, and drop an incredible album, and it's gonna win everybody over. You know what I mean? And J. Cole's always kind of been the underdog, and I think he works better in that space rather than being like the braggadocious guy. I think he works better playing in the space of I'm the underdog, I'm a regular dude, and I think he works better under pressure like that. But unless he's gonna challenge Kendrick lyrically, not personal jabs, none of that shit, but unless he's gonna challenge Kendrick lyrically, I don't want to hear any lyrics about being the best or being number one or I'll battle any MC. I don't want to hear any of that, because you can't say that no more. That's the only thing I want to say. Like, J. Cole's one of my favorite MCs. He's in my top 10 of all time. So I'm not saying this as a hater, don't get it twisted, but I have to keep it 100. Like, he can't talk like that anymore. I'm sorry. Like, just keep it about the music, keep it about real life. No more I'm the king, none of that. I don't want to hear that no more. He made the ultimate mistake, and that's if you're in the competitive field, even if you know you're gonna lose, you never back out of a challenge. Imagine Mike Tyson saying, I can't fight that guy, he's gonna beat me. Imagine Muhammad Ali saying, I can't fight that guy, he's gonna beat me. Even if you know in your head that your opponent has the upper hand, you still gotta step up to the plate. If J. Cole just stepped up to the plate and challenged Kendrick, I would respect it way more, even if he lost, right? I respect Drake because he still stepped up to the plate. He lost, but he still accepted the challenge, right? J. Cole made a diss track and then took it down. Like, it is what it is. J. Cole's a great artist, and he's gonna come back and he's gonna do, I'm sure the album's gonna be amazing. Because the way J. Cole's been rapping, aside from that diss track, has been at a high level. Now let's get into the official king of rap, Kendrick Lamar. What more can I say, really? If you saw my last couple episodes, you already know how I feel about this battle and about what Kendrick Lamar has done. What a display. I'm not even going to spend too much time on this part of the video just because we all know what it is. Kendrick put on a masterclass. He won in every way possible, lyrically, strategically. He put up the numbers. He back-to-backed him, made a hit record out of a diss track. Now, what I think Kendrick's gonna do is, I think right now he's gearing up for an album, based on like the little rumors that are going around and stuff. I think this would be the perfect time for him to drop the album, given all the momentum that he has carried over from this battle with Drake. Now, what I want Kendrick to do right now is, I think Not Like Us deserves a visual, like a video for it, That song has just become such a huge hit and has taken over the culture. I think that song itself is a moment, and I think it's going to be one that it's a classic record, classic diss record also, but it's a classic song. It just so happens to be dissing Drake. I think it's arguably maybe Kendrick's most successful single, or it's not really a single, it's a diss track, but I think it would be wise for Kendrick to actually use Not Like Us as the first single and put it on the album that's supposed to be coming out. There's going to be people that say, oh, well, Kendrick's using the controversy and he's using Drake and using the diss to sell, to get album sales, to get record sales. First of all, Kendrick has always had #1 albums, right? He doesn't really need to do that. Second of all, how many artists have used Drake as a way to sell records, right? And third of all, how many people have used diss records on an album, right? Ether was on Stillmatic, Takeover was on The Blueprint. 50 Cent made a whole career out of disses in the beginning, right? So for me, I think it only elevates the album because he's stamping the album with this moment in hip hop, right? And I think Kendrick has the chance to maybe put something out, if he has in the stash already a gang of quality music, he has a chance to really put something out that can maybe not surpass Good Kid, Mad City, but it could be something that lives up to that hype, of the hype of Damn to Pimp a Butterfly, all these classics he already has. If he drops another classic right now, you know, including the record Not Like Us, the album sales are going to be crazy, right? You have to mention that because there are people who care about that. So statistically, it's going to go crazy. And I think it just puts a stamp on it. Like, this is the moment where I went toe to toe with the guy that they said I couldn't beat and the guy that was number one for so long, and I defeated him. And this is kind of like, it's the moment that Kendrick really became the king and really was the number one of hip hop. You know what I mean? So I would put it on the album myself, to be honest. I would, because it's just a dope track overall. Anyways, it's the perfect single. You know what I mean? But more than anything, even Not Like Us aside, like, I think he really needs to use this opportunity. He should use this opportunity to drop a classic album. You know, Mr. Morale was kind of an album where people overlooked it. It was a little too personal for people, a little too slow for people. It wasn't enough. It wasn't very accessible to certain people, right? I loved it. You know, I made an episode already talking about how I think it's his most important album. But it wasn't it's not my favorite Kendrick album, and it's not a lot of people's favorites, right? So I think, you know, Kendrick kind of has this way of doing, it's kind of, he kind of has this pattern of going like, you'll see like a Good Kid, Mad City, and then you'll see something where it goes kind of experimental, like To Pimp a Butterfly, the jazz infusion and everything. You know, then it's Damn. It's Damn, then it's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right? So I think we just had an experimental with Mr. Morale. I think the next one is going to be something that's more well-rounded, more accessible, has commercial appeal, but still has depth. And I think now is the perfect time to drop that album because people were sleeping on him. People were saying Kendrick's not it. Kendrick's falling off, da-da-da. Now's the perfect time. Look, I just took down Goliath. Now I'm dropping a classic album, and it will be the year of Kendrick if he does that. Do some features, just be in the moment, you know, to be active, be consistent, get in our face, you know, put out content, like just take over, you know what I mean? I think that would be like a perfect exclamation mark, and that'll move Kendrick up the ladder of the greatest MCs of all time. He's already in my top 5, but I think a moment like that for him will really propel him, and, you know, he starts pushing on that top 3, top 2 category. Now to get into Drake now, you know, it's been a tough stretch for him. You know, right now, I feel like this is probably the lowest Drake has been in his career in terms of like public opinion. You know, even after the Pusha T thing, I think he was able to just put out Scorpion, and he had really huge records on Scorpion. That kind of just like, the album was so massive and the hits on the album are so massive that we kind of just moved on from it very quickly. You know what I mean? The purists know what it is. The purists know that Pusha T got him, but like the allegations and the things that were said on the Pusha T record versus what Kendrick was doing and the way Kendrick was breaking him down, it's night and day. You know, Kendrick really took what Pusha T did and did it like times 10. You know what I mean? I think right now Drake's character, more than anything, is really being judged and put under a microscope like it's never been before. So Kendrick really like swayed people's opinion on Drake. But you know, I know it's not over for Drake though, 100%. Like, he's still gonna drop hits. He's still gonna have #1 albums. He's still a legend. He's still one of the GOATs in hip hop. You know, his legacy has taken a hit. You know, it's taken a hit from ghostwriting allegations from Meek Mill. You know, having a secret child exposed and losing the battle to Pusha T, and then now Kendrick Lamar winning by a landslide, really, and then kind of putting his character and on display and damaging his credibility to a certain degree. I think, you know, it's gonna be tough for Drake, but I think he'll be okay at the end of the day. You know, he's still a staple in this thing. He's still a huge artist. He still has a massive fan base. He's still gonna break that Michael Jackson record if he hasn't already. I'm not even keeping up with that. So what do I think Drake's gonna do next? You know, well, he's already said he's going on vacation, and which is a good call, you know. And I think taking a step back, clearing his head, zenning out a little bit will be good for him from a mental standpoint. But he also said on his IG story, good times, summer vibes up next, with a picture of a samurai going up against an army, right? So what that tells me is he's still trying to stick to this whole 20v1 thing, when really it was just Drake versus Kendrick, because most of us, including myself, we didn't really care about the Rick Ross stuff and everybody else. It was Kendrick versus Drake. That's what we've been waiting for. That's what we wanted to see. Kendrick was very straightforward, focused on Drake. Unfortunately, Drake wasn't focused on Kendrick enough to really put up a proper fight, but that's his fault, right? You know what I mean? You know, academics has been saying that Drake's not done with the battle and that he's going to continue just in his own way on his own time. So, you know, the post could mean that he's dropping an album in summer. It could mean that he's dropping a single, maybe like a more summer feel type of vibe. So I think he's definitely going to drop new music. And I think at some point he probably will diss Kendrick again or make some type of subliminal or some jab at him. I think he will take another shot. I don't think he should drop another diss track though. I think we're past that now. Like it would be kind of stupid if 2 months from now Drake tried to drop like his own ether. You know what I mean? Personally, that's how I feel, just because they were so active and he kind of bowed out already. If he wants to take shots here and there, that's one thing, but trying to like start it over again, it's like we already, you know what I mean? When you're in the playoffs, you can't have up to game 6 and then I don't want to have game 7 now. Let's have game 7 later. Like, nah, you're in the series. It's supposed to happen now. We're in the moment and you lost. That's just what it is. What I would want Drake to do, honestly, I think it would help Drake to like take a page out of J. Cole's book and really humble himself and do some like soul searching. I don't know Drake personally, but I mean, from an outsider looking in, you could tell that his character and his ways he's changed like quite a bit. I mean, most people do, right? But you know, where is that kid from Toronto? You know what I mean? That was comfortable and confident and not being the tough guy and made music bigging women up and was honest about his upbringing and inspired us with his ambition and dreamer-like mentality on songs like Successful. You know, that was really the anthem for the dreamer and the underdog. You know, where's the guy who wanted to be known as a great MC? You know what I mean? And wanted to at least try to make great, well-rounded albums. Now it seems like he's more focused on chasing this Michael Jackson hit record and more focused on the numbers, you know. I think I'm at a point where, you know, dare I say it, like I miss the old Drake. Like I'm at that point now, like how I feel with Kanye. You know, I miss the old Kanye. I miss the old Drake. And I don't think it's just a nostalgia thing. I think it's Drake's focus. He's such a mega star, and I'm not sure the stipulations of his contracts and stuff like that, but it just seems that there's been a shift of focus from making quality music to putting up big numbers, right? And that's cool for him, and I hope he does all that, and I hope he has all the success he wants. But in terms of me being a fan and a listener, I want good music, because Drake does make good music. I'm not one of those people who doesn't think Drake's a good artist. I think he's a phenomenal artist. Me personally though, I'm also not into the tough guy Drake. You know, I do miss the sincere lyrics. I miss the vulnerability, you know, he had on songs like Karaoke or Too Much. I think Drake has kind of taken the quantity over quality format, you know, these 20 plus song albums, you know, for the streaming numbers and chasing numbers, and also like kind of using these younger artists, you know, Lil Yachty or whoever, and kind of chasing like a younger sound now, where it was the other way around. Before, people were chasing Drake's sound. You know, now it's like I don't really know what Drake's sound is anymore, you know. And Drake is also a grown man, you know, he's 37 years old. He's a father now, you know. I kind of want to hear a more mature sound, you know. I actually liked, honestly, Nevermind, and I thought that was a really good shift for him. You know, maybe the reception of that is what made him say, you know what, fuck that, I'm going to go back over here. But man, that was a good album, man. If he just mixed, honestly, Nevermind with like some of, Scary Hours 3, the extended version of For All the Dogs was, like that pocket mixed with a little bit of the hits from For All the Dogs mixed with some of that, honestly, Nevermind. Like, you put that together, like that's a great album, right? Like, you know, I think it would benefit Drake to take some time off, you know, take a couple years off. You know, he's always dropping. It's like if Drake were to literally take 2 years off and just put together like 14 of the best songs, you know, with a variety of flavors, like getting back into actually really rapping, getting back into making real R&B about love and breakups and heartbreak, and not just about, I took this guy's girl, you know what I mean? Like if he just took the time to really craft a great piece of art, you know, because he can, you know, get a little bit more personal, you know, rap about being a father, rap about some hardships in his life, get vulnerable again, you know what I mean? Like get personal and honest. And yes, we still want the slaps too, of course, but make a well-rounded, great album. Like you only need 2-3 slaps. Like you mix in with a little R&B, mix in with the deeper records, and you got yourself a classic album. Like I think Nothing Was the Same was the best, most well-rounded Drake album in my opinion. You know, Take Care is a classic as well, I think. I would say So Far Gone is as well. And if you look at those albums, you know, they all have personal records on it, right? They all have songs on it where he's showing lyrical ability, right? They also have records on there that are commercial and have success in the clubs and whatever. So I would like to see Drake just go back to that instead of just trying to put out 25 songs and it just sounds like one long playlist. In my opinion, like For All the Dogs was his worst album, and I think Drake has been on a decline since Scorpion, probably, maybe even Views, but really after Scorpion, for me, it was like I'm not really going back to those albums a lot afterwards. Hey man, I'm at that point now. I miss the old Drake, you know, so it's not over for Drake, but I would like to see him get back to the music and really making quality music and not just striving for the numbers. Thank you guys for listening, man. I want to thank you guys for all the comments over the last couple of videos, you know. That's what I really do this for. Like I really love engaging with you guys, like going back and forth over your opinions and your thoughts on the subjects that we're talking about, you know. That's what I really want. I want this to be a community, and I want us to be able to discuss things, and not all the trolling and stuff is going to happen, but I really love like the people out there that's just been having like real conversation about the music. So I want that to continue. I want this thing to grow, and I want to make lots more content and keep improving. And at the end of every episode, I'll pick a comment and I'll put it at the end, and just to show you guys a little bit of love back. And keep the comments coming, man. I love it. It's been really fun, man. I've been having a blast so far. So thank you guys for watching, man. Peace.